Very good evening, dearest friends, and welcome into our very important and special Soul of Nations broadcast. We are concentrating today into Afghanistan situation, and also we try to learn something about Afghanistan. Sydämellisesti tervetuloa tähän meidän erityislähetykseen, kansojen sielun lähetykseen, jossa keskittäydymme nyt Afganistaniin ja siihen tilanteeseen ja myöskin koetamme nyt oppia jotakin Afganistanista. So let us look first something what is happening behind the scenes. Nyt ensin jotakin palautamme mieliimme, mikä tapahtuu kulissien takana. The thing is that Lord Maitreya is preparing his coming. Se, että Herra Maitreya on suunnittelemassa tuloaan. All of these happenings what we have at the moment going on our planet is somehow related to that, and also this great event that the humanity is preparing itself to take the first initiation. Kaikki liittyy jollain lailla siihen, että Herra Maitreya on suunnittelemassa tuloaan ja ihmiskunta on lähestymässä kohti ensimmäistä vihkimystä. Also our Father, the Lord of all lords, is and has sent one type of new energy which is affecting the whole humanity. Ja myöskin se, että Herra, kaikkien herrojen Herra, eli Isämme taivaissa, on lähettänyt määrätynlaista energiaa, joka ei ole aikaisemmin vuodatettu, ja se vaikuttaa myös, ja se on aivan uuden tyyppinen. It is causing us changes towards the new civilization, and it has effect upon humanity, how we are actually responding to the will. Se lähettää, tämä energia kasvattaa meissä ihmissuhteita ja myöskin sitä, että millä lailla vastaamme tahtoenergiaan. Master D.K. has been talking about that, about this, how we are supposed to, and especially the group which we are calling the disciples, that they are supposed to develop this quality of will. And he is sometimes criticizing us that how little we are actually using the spiritual will. Mestari D.K. myös kritisoi jollakin lailla meitä, että kuinka käytämme henkistä tahtoa. So this crisis, where whatever kinds of crises we may think, we have to always question ourselves that are we doing really the most we can. And because we are limited creatures, that's why we have to develop this will that we are able to go through these great changes on earth. Ja juuri sen tähden meidän täytyy kasvattaa tuota tahtoa, koska nämä muutokset ovat niin suuria. So we have that in our minds about this, that we are part of these great things happening behind the scenes. Meidän täytyy ymmärtää, että olemme osa tuota kaikkia, mikä tapahtuu kulissien takana. And that we can be used. Ja se, että meitä voidaan käyttää. What is very important for us, that hierarchy could use us, is that we have to hold ourselves and stand the way that our hearts are open and we are somewhat cultivating us, that we are standing without criticism. Ja myös, että me opimme seisomaan ilman kriittisyyttä. We have to, of course, see very clearly where we stand. Meidän täytyy nähdä hyvin selkeästi, miten ja missä seisomme. But we must align the way with the hierarchy, that we are understanding that very many karmic situations are gone through now on planet and in humanity. Ja meidän täytyy oppia näkemään, kuinka moni karvallinen asia nyt menee läpi. So let us now align with Afghanistan. Virittäydymme nyt Afganistaniin. And we have those question marks about the flag and the emblem. Meillä on kysymysmerkit tässä lipun ja vaakunan kohdalla. So since 2004 until this time we have had this Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, and now we don't know how we are continuing. Ja vuoteen 2021, vuodesta 2004 on tuo Afganistanin islamilainen tasavalta ollut läsnä, ja mitä nyt sitten on, emme tiedä. So we see that we have neighboring countries. We have Pakistan, Iran, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan and China. Naapureita ovat Pakistan, Iran, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan ja Kiina. So let us see first about this very mountainous area. Do you see how all of these brown areas, you see that they are just majestic high mountains. Ja näette tuon ruskean alueen, jossa on noita mahtavan upeita vuoristoja. So we can see that this is the country in the mountains. Me todellakin voimme sanoa, että tämä on maa keskellä vuoria, and that gives a lot of what would we say, a lot of challenges because of the landscape, ja nämä antaa paljon haasteita, but it also gives, whenever we have mountains present, it is giving some kind of first rate quality, ja silloin kun meillä on vuoristoja lähellä, niin se tuo määrätynlaista ensimmäisen säteen laatua. And let us remember that 2015 there was a very big earthquake, and I think that these earthquakes would have been happening now around this Far East and also Asian areas, that somehow the world centers, Darjeeling and Tokyo, they are activated by Manu. Ja uskoisin, että nuo maanjäristykset, joita on tuolla alueella nyt jatkuvasti, on jollakin lailla Manun työtä herättääkseen näitä maailman keskuksia. So this actually is something what I found from the official page of Afghanistan. It is the friendliest country in the world, possibly the universe. I think this is very wonderful. And so let us keep that in our work now, that this is at least great goal. Eli Afganistanin virallisilla sivuilla löytyy tämmöinen motto, että kaikista maailman ystävällisen maa ja ehkä koko universumin. Ja me voimme pitää sitä mielissämme, että se on ainakin heidän päämääränsä. But this is the motto, and I think that this will stay as a motto for Afghanistan. This is the official motto. There is no God but God. Muhammad is the messenger of God. Ja tuo on sitten virallinen motto Afganistanille, ja varmaan se säilyy. Ei ole Jumalaa muuta kuin Jumala, ja Muhammed on Jumalan sanan saattaja. So let us just look these present facts. So the form of government is not determined yet. Tällä hetkellä hallitusmuoto ei ole päätetty. So and then since 2004 until this few weeks ago, we had the earlier government, ja vuodesta 2004 muutama viikko sitten oli tuo, mihinkä asti oli edellinen hallitusmuoto. So here we see some images of Kabul, which is the capital city, and somewhat we should be focusing ourselves. This is certainly because it's the biggest city, so it is the some kind of center in Afghanistan where we can ponder on the cases that very often the capital city is near the heart center of the country. Tiibetiläinen sanoo, että hyvin usein pääkaupunki on maan sydänkeskuksen lähellä. So, but at the moment the Kabul is also, or it has been some time already, that there is so much devastating signs of the wars which has been going on, ja tietysti tuolla on joka paikassa näitä sodan jälkiä. So the earlier president Mohammed Ashraf Ghani Ahmadzai has been fleeing away from the country, ja tuo edellinen presidentti Mohammed Ashraf Ghani Ahmadzai on karannut maasta, kuten varmasti tiedätte. And so if I am saying something wrong, so let us know, because there were so many things to be looking now and preparing, so I cannot guarantee that everything is now. I tried to look at the latest news, but if I have escaped something, so please let us know. And this is the leader of the Taliban group. Ja tässä on Taliban ryhmän johtaja, which is very, very determined and, well, very sixth-rate person. Ja tässä on hyvin, hän on hyvin kuudennen säteen ihminen. So he has said that the group won't stop fighting until its demands have been met. Ja hän sanoi, että tämä ryhmä ei lopeta taistelua ennen kuin heidän vaatimuksensa on täytetty. And that is the thing which is now going on. These fights and arguments and demands and a lot of hatred. When I was preparing that, I somehow, and you will see in these photos, that you see that how devastating the situation is. But let us now talk about this language. So there are two official languages, Pashto and Dari, and these are the alphabets of Dari. On kaksi kieltä, jotka on virallisia, Pashto ja Dari, ja tässä on Darin aakkoset. And then there are around 32 million people in Afghanistan, but now this war is it's there now. Ja nyt tämä taistelu on menossa. So it is, you know, that even women, they try to protect the children, the kids, and protect themselves. The evacuation is finishing in Kabul, and you have been following those news, these all kinds of stories which have been they have been very touching. So anyway, what is going to happen to the schools, and especially the schools of girls, is going to be a big question mark. And there are thousands of people who wanted to flee from Afghanistan, and thousands of people are left behind. And so there is a lot of fear, very, very deep fear, and people tries to find their places, and how those international evacuation groups, they try to bring as many as possible, but Taliban was very firm very firm about that people all this has to be stopped by the end of August. And still, even though they promised that there is ceasefire, but then there has been those attacks and now already tens of people have died. Ja tuollahan on ollut noita yhteenottoja ja ihmiset ovat jo kuolleet. So there is this rising of the sixth ray attitude via Taliban, but also then ISIS. And then there are also some groups which have been daring to come forth to protest against these changes, and what is happening to them we don't know. Ja ryhmiä on noussut, jotka on protestoineet, mutta mitä heille sitten käy, emme tiedä. Just few things about that. The army, which of course was then meeting the civilians, ja tietysti armeijat, jotka olivat siviilien kanssa tekemissä. And I think these are the things what one can think through, is that if we only would have the attitude of the child, I think that would be the help for every single group. See that the child is and could go through all of this sadness and fear and hatred. So at the moment, all of those who were left behind, who didn't get their place in the airplanes, and who were left behind under those who will then be violent towards them, our hearts are really aching because of that. The Talibans are now and have taken over, but of course there is then between Talibans and the groups of ISIS, which are also fighting. But this, what is danger, is that the head of terrorism is lifting its head also in the other terrorist places. Ja se mikä on vaarana on, että se vaikuttaa muihin terroristipaikkoihin. So we have few years left to the 25. So all of this, of course, it belongs to these energies which are pouring into humanity and how humanity is responding. So this why we are sending the deep call to every single one now to work as much as you can and understand that everyone's part is now going to help the forces of light and forces of Christ, the army of the Christ, to keep the balance. You remember that DK was warning that one cannot manifest these fights and the war on the physical plane. Otherwise it is going to be the religious war, and then Shambhala will be invoked. Ja kuten tiibettiläinen sanoi, että jos tuo taistelu, joka on sisäisellä tasolla, manifestoituu fyysiselle tasolle, se tarkoittaa uskontojen sotaa, ja silloin Shambhala tulee mukaan. So that's why these are critical things on earth, ja siksi myös nämä ovat hyvin kriittisiä asioita maan päällä. Anyway, to studying Afghanistan, joka tapauksessa kun katsomme Afganistania, we look a little bit history. There are like 5 parts in it, on ikään kuin 5 erilaista osaa, and that it was inhabited 50,000 years ago. On löydetty 50 000 vuotta sitten olevia jäänteitä, and it was farming communities. Ja nuo maanviljelystä oli silloin maassa. Then after 2000 before the Christ, there was coming the semi-nomadic people from Central Asia. Ja Keski-Aasiasta tuli noita nomadeja. Then Macedonian forces were arriving. Alexander the Great, Aleksanteri Suuri, tuli makedonialaisjoukkoineen. And then part 2 was about the then Arab Muslims brought the Islamic religion to Afghanistan. And that was around 650 after the Christ, and it was lasting in the middle of 1700s. Ja tuo muslimikausi kesti 650-luvulta jonnekin 1700-luvun puolivälille. And then Genghis Khan also came, ja Genghis Khan myöskin tuli, and his Mongol army ja Mongolian armeija. And then around 1745 to 2021 has been this kind of Hotak Empire. Ja Hotakin keisarikunta on tullut tänne vuoteen 2021 asti ollut. And there were certain few other kingdoms in between. Mutta oli myös muutamia muita kuningaskuntia tuossa välillä. So anyway, this is the most, we could think that this is the most important thing what is now going to happen in Afghanistan so far, because this is not only for Afghanistan but the global issue. Ja tämä on sen tähden, että tämä on koko maailmaan liittyvä asia. But let us look something about people, because I think that when we are looking these images, it is giving us some kind of a quality connection to us, energy connection to us. Ja katsomme näitä kuvia, joka antaa meille tällaisen energisen yhteyden Afganistaniin. Of course there are these strict burqas, näitä koko burkia, whole burqas, but then there has been freedom was growing in women. Tuo vapaus itse asiassa alkoi nousta naisten keskuudessa. And we have the groups, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 groups. So the most we have Pashtuns, almost half of them, and then 27% of Tajik, then under 10% Hazaras, Uzbeks, Aimaks, Turkmens, Paloks, and then under 4% the other groupings. So there you see that there are very many ethnical groupings in Afghanistan. Ja Afganistanissa on hyvin monia näitä eri ryhmiä. Eniten on pakstuja, melkein 50%, sitten 27% tajikkilaisia. And as everywhere, you know, people are, there are a lot of markets, like in this kind of not so industrial countries, they have just wonderful things from the ground. Ja nuo tori-tapahtumat on siellä, koska on kyse tällaisesta maasta, jossa on enemmän ikään kuin maaseutua. And you see a beautiful, colorful dressings. And then you have the turban when we think about men, but you can see also laughing people, smiling people. But when you actually look these images, you see a lot of this sixth ray expression, that this is, we can see that this country is really in the turmoil. You can see the red beard, and what I was understanding, that they are those who are really against Israeli government, and maybe there are others, but there is some humorous things what they are saying, that dear American hipsters, you will never look as good as us, sincerely Afghan elders. Ja nuo punaparrat, niin ne on erityisesti, miten olen ymmärtänyt, niin Israelin valtiota vastaan. Mutta sitten Amerikan hipstereille he sanoo, että te ette koskaan näytä niin upeille kuin me, toivoo vilpittömästi Afganin vanhimmat. But when one is seeing these people and thinking about all the challenges of life, one would just hope that everyone could express themselves. And of course, you know, the Western fashion has come, and it was seen in Kabul more and more. Tuo länsimainen asusteet auttivat enemmän valtaa, erityisesti Kabulista. But when we look about these different ethnic groups, it is this typical thing that everything is decorated so beautifully. Aina kun katsomme näitä etnisiä ryhmiä, niin näemme tuon koristeellisuuden, mikä on niin upeaa. I have not been collecting these from which groups these are. So these are from here and there. Afghanistan. Nämä ovat sieltä sun täältä Afganistanista. And the families, you see this typical housing is mud housing. Ja tyypillistä asumista on tuo mutatalot. But then very interestingly, there are people who are near Pakistan, and they have very light eyes. Like here we can start to see these light eyes, and also you can somehow, when you see those children, and I was really pausing when I was picking up this girl, and because that is something which is one of those horrible things, that girls are abused. It is so common. It's said that 80 to 90% the little girls are sexually abused, and you can see that in these images that when the child look adultly, näemme siitä, että milloin lapsi näyttää aikuiselle. We can know that then the childhood has been cut somewhat cruel way. Siitä näemme, että lapsuus on jollakin lailla julmasti katkottu. Especially look these eyes. What are they telling to you? Like this girl again. And there you can go and Google yourself. You see those I couldn't collect everything, but this is this Afghan girl Shabad Gula, which is the photographer Steve McCurry has been taken, and you have been seeing her in many occasions. Ja tässä on yksi kuuluisimmista afganilaisista tytöistä, joka on kuva, jonka on Steve McCurry ottanut. Sharbat Gula and her eyes. And the eyes of this little boy. And this boy. And here we see a few of those who have these very light eyes, amazing eyes. So this is actually Pakistan people. They are called Kalash people. And there are this, the myth of this white tribe. That's some kind of mystical tribe. And also in Andes there is the similar way that in the mountains there are those completely blue-eyed people, and there are these myths that the ancestors were coming from space. And here we see again some kind of expression about the very little child, which is the body language is like adults, and that is giving me this kind of thought, is and has she been abused. Ja tuossa missä näemme näitä lapsia, jotka näyttävät aivan aikuisille, niin se kysymys herää, että kuinka paljon heitä on sitten käytetty hyväksi. So when we will work together, so let us remember this. And now about education. So literacy rate is informed that it is 87%, but because more than half of the kids are not going to school, so it could be just the government which is giving this kind of numbers. So that should be studied more. As you know that now the fear is that the schools for little girls are going to be closed. Sanotaan, että lukutaito on 87%, mutta onko se todella, koska puolet lapsista ei mene kouluun. And as you see that there are so many schools do not even have the rooms, they are just outside. And primary school is the compulsory. Ja tuo alakoulu on ensimmäinen, mikä on pakollinen tuohon hetkinen, onko se 15 vuoteen asti tuo silloin. And also, you know, it is not the school only for young ones, but there are some who are trying to teach also women to read. Ja on myös noita naisten kouluja. But all of these, it has been some kind of news from UN that over 1,000 Afghan children now drop out of school a day. YK on kertonut, että jo yli 1000 lasta päivässä jättää koulun. And of course when you think that now you are going to be punished and how strongly the girls are going to be punished, we don't know. Emme tiedä kuinka pahasti sitten tyttöjä rangaistaan. And there have been those protests earlier which has said that Afghan children want education. Ja näitä protesteja on ollut, jotka vaativat lapsille oppiluutta, oppimisoikeutta, and those brave teachers. So our soul are with those brave teachers, the women teachers who have been teaching girls underground also to teach them to read. And we all know that the ability to read is the doorway to freedom. Ja me kaikki tiedämme, että lukutaito on yksi avain ovi vapauteen. So quickly about the economy, there is it's a horrible situation at the moment. It is showing here that how the economy is going down, and that the war has cost over $2 trillion USA dollars, and it is just continuing to sink down. Sanotaan, että yli 3 triljoonaa on mennyt sotaan. So it is a horrible thing that one has to just war and to put money there. So that's why all the economy is now based upon that how the little economy between this exchange in the marketplaces, ja nyt tuo taloudellinen tilanne, että pientä vaihtoa on torikaupassa. But think about that all of the people who are producing food now in these circumstances are crucial, and how the distribution is then going. We need international help in order to get even food for people, and there has been already coming those signs which are telling about that difficult problem. So then now about the religion, it is almost 100%, over 99% it is Islam, and 0.3% other groups, and basically it should be that there is the core idea also in Islam to bring peace, but how it has been interpreted. So because of the religion, people are explaining to themselves that they have the right to go and war. Ja ihmisen oman tulkinnan mukaisesti on tilanne se, että ihmiset menevät sitten sotaan. But there is a Sufi group in Afghanistan, the Forgotten Mystics, which are those who are for peace. Ja siellä on pieni ryhmä sufia, jotka ovat rauhanrakentajia. And all of the other groups which are minorities and whose position will be very questionable at the moment. Kaikki nuo pikkuryhmät, jotka eivät ole islamilaisia, niin heidän tilanteensa on hirvittävä. And as we can think, the healthcare, kuten voimme ajatella, Afghanistan is the 15th least developed country in the world. Afghanistan on 15. heikoiten kehittynyt maa maailmassa. There is at the moment also the hospitals are attacked, myöskin no sairaalat, niihin hyökätään. They are, because of the bombing, they are filled. Näiden pommitusten takia ne ovat täynnä. And also the medical distribution is going to be threatened. Nyt lääketuotanto on uhattuna, and there are now some of those healthcare people who are giving for kids now medicines because the COVID is rampantly spread. Ja nyt COVID kasvaa siellä, and to what and to where this is going to lead to. Ja mihinkä se sitten kasvaa. And also there are some other diseases now in children which are very contagious, ja hyvin tarttuvia lasten tautia on nyt liikkeellä. So this is always, when we think about this kind of crisis situation, it is always that we have to remember the healthcare people, in what kind of conditions they are working. So let us now quickly look some of the architecture. I'm not going to say almost anything, but as in always in Islamic worlds, this decorative way of building and the colors are just beautiful. Aina islamilaisessa maailmassa ovat nuo geometriset kuviot niin mahtavia. And the tile, Kabul was an east famous of its tiles. Kabul on kuuluisa sen kaikista laatoistaan. And it is this turquoise blue coloring is amazing. Tuo turkoosi väritys on ihana. And this is actually in Herat a synagogue which is now going to be restored from Jewish past. Juutalaista menneisyydestä tuota synagogaa uusitaan. And then there are all kinds of new architectural buildings. This is National Museum, which are very, very interesting. Ja nyt on kaikenlaisia museoita, jotka ovat hyvin mielenkiintoisia. There is something about the architecture and this manifestation, very, very artistic and calling. And in that sense, we can sense the peace, the rhythm of the form and sounding the form. Tuossa muslimimaailmassa kyllä nuo arkkitehtuuriset tilat ovat upeita. Ne todella tuo muodossa paljon. And there are new suburbs which have been built. Uusia lähiöitä, jotka ovat rakentuneet. But then something from the old times. Ja nyt jotakin vanhasta ajasta. And here you see those mud houses, which are very traditional houses. And Kabul is mainly built by those. Kabulkin on suurimmaksi osaksi rakennettu näistä. And on the mountains this is the only way. Ja sitten vuoristossa tämä on ainoa tapa, mikä on niin rakennettu. And during the earlier government there were many places which was taking under cultural renovation. edellisen hallituksen aikana alettiin kunnostaa todella paljon näitä kulttuuripaikkoja. Where that is going to go is a big question. Here we have some idea of Kabul, and many of those little towns are built between and in the valleys, and it is very because it's on the mountains, there is hardly anything growing, tuskin mitään kasvaa, but then in the valleys you see some green as well. Okay, then we look a little bit about tradition, which is just fantastic. And now we go quick. There are Afghan traditional clothes shopping markets, and so people are still buying these, but the young people are nowadays dressing according to the Western style more, and then using these traditional costumes in special cases like in weddings and birthdays. Ja näitä nuoriso ei enää niin paljon näitä traditionaalisia asuja pidä, vaan sitten käyttävät erityisissä juhlamenoissa. And this we just note that there are this handicraft tradition very strong still, and beautiful handicrafts are made. And then dancing culture. Oh, that would have been a lot to say about that. Afganistanin tanssikulttuuri on voimakasta ja rikasta, ja tietysti pitäisi puhua paljon enemmän niistä ja tuosta traditionaalisesta käsitaidosta. So the handicraft skills are going to carpets. So Afghanistan is also very famous of its carpets. Afghanistan on myöskin hyvin kuuluisa näistä matoistaan. And these different parts of Afghanistan have different typical ways and signs how the carpet is done. Ja eri osat Afganistanin osassa tekee erilaista niinku tyyppikirjontaa. So let us now look finally nature. That is a list how many things you can actually get from Afghanistan, but we are not all kinds of things which are growing, but we are not going to read that through. Tuossa on vain listaa siitä, miten paljon tuotteita Afganistanissa kasvaa. But this is the basically, if you remember how much there was this mountainous area in Afghanistan, this you can think that is very typical landscape. So what kind of secrets are there then? Mitä salaisuuksia sinne sitten liittyykään? And it is still the land is growing, maa nousee edelleen. So one could think that it is demanding place to live. Voimme ajatella, että on hyvin vaativaa tuolla asua. And the roads, some roads are going to very narrow places. Jotkut tiet vievät hyvin kapeiden alueiden läpi. The water is of course one of the challenge. Ja tietysti vesi on tuo haaste. But this is a Kandahar Dala Dam. Ja tämä on Kandahar Dala putoukset. And beautiful rivers. And these wonderful, I don't know what is the name of this stone, but it makes like when the erosion has been having its touch, but it makes like temples. Ja tuo, en tiedä mitä kiveä tuo, mutta tuo erosio tekee ikään kuin olisi tällaisia temppeleitä. Majestic sceneries, majesteettisia maisemia. And then we look a little bit animals. There are bears, and then this kind of Asiatic black bear, ja tällainen musta karhu, which have its how do you call like this well thing on the breast. Että ikään kuin tämmöinen kaulus on sillä. But then this Eurasian otter ja tää saukko, which is really cute. And this is long-tailed marmot, which are on the mountains. Ja tuo murmeleita tuolla vuorilla. But then also Joffrey's bat, which is very big. Ja tuo lepakko, joka on hyvin suuri. And then these some of the deers. This is markhor. Amazing horns. Ja tää markhor, jolla on tämmöiset upeat sarvet. But then you have Marco Polo sheep, and all of them are hunted, and they are huge. There you see this Marco Polo sheep has two types of horns, this type and then the curvy one, and they are really amazing. They are about over 1 meter 40 centimeters, and they live around 5 kilometers high. Sorry, I cannot say this in feet. But then there is also lynx, which are living over this 5 kilometers, and they are also all the time disappearing. So they say that maybe in Europe and Asia are only 10,000 individuals in the wildlife of lynx. Euro-Aasiassa ja Euroopassa on enää vain noin 10 000 yksilöä jäljellä. And this is Pallas cat, very rare cat. And this cat has a lot of difficulties. I once saw a documentary, especially the male cats. Their sperm is somewhat hurt, or it does not consist anymore living semens, and they don't know the reason. So all around our world they try to now artificially get these cats, but it is all the time not successful. Eli näitä kissoja pyritään geenohedelmöittämään, sillä on todettu, että näiden urospuolisten sperma on kuollutta ja syytä ei tiedetä. And then also they have in Afghanistan this beautiful snow leopard, and also the population, they are only about 200 in Afghanistan. So this leopard is also disappearing. Ja tämä lumileijonahan myös on häviämässä, on vain paristaa yksilöä enää Afganistanissa. So we look few of these problems, and now I'm warning you sensitive ones, because this is something very awful. In Afghanistan, in Taliban tradition, they have this terrible dogs fights, and this is some kind of brutal activity, and we have to work against this. We have to call really help that this will be ceasing in the world. Talibanien joukossa tuo koiratappelut ovat jotakin aivan hirvittävää, ja meidän täytyy työskennellä sitä vastaan. Then one big problem is this how we could put that into word, this uneducation and the strong fanatic religious point of view. So these are those when all of the Buddhas were they were cut away. Kaikki nuo buddhat, joita kuinka monta sataa niitä oli, joita tuhottiin tuolla Afganistanissa talibanien taholta. So there is nowadays only the hole in the rock. Ja nyt on tuossa kalliossa vain tuo reikä. So all of this, the problem of the sixth ray, fanatism of the sixth ray is great problem. Ja 6. säteen fanaattisuus on todella hirvittävän suuri ongelma. As said, now the COVID, which is spreading, ja tuo COVID, joka nyt kulkee eteenpäin, leviää, and then abuse of the girls. Ja tyttöjen hyväksikäyttö, and also the condition of children. Ja lasten tilaa. And of course we have to remember the whole nation. Ja meidän täytyy muistaa tuo koko maa. All these problems, and there are coming now the problems of distribution of food and medicines. Ja nyt tulee myös ongelmaksi tuo ruoan ja lääkkeiden tuominen, and also the violence which is going. So let us remember when we now take few moments for us to work together. And let us look these beautiful eyes of the child which is looking towards future and waiting that the world is taking action. Ja katsomme noita silmiä, lasten silmiä, jotka katsovat tulevaisuuteen ja odottaa, että maailma nyt toimii. So this was our little tour. I'm sorry that it is there would have been so much to take under consideration, but maybe it was giving us a little tiny taste and connectiveness to Afghanistan. Toivottavasti saimme pienen sydänyhteyden Afganistaniin. So we will go now into our meditation. Ja menemme tuohon mietiskelyymme. Let us now first align with each other. Virittäydymme nyt toisiimme. And shift your polarization to mental plane, where your soul works. Kohotamme tietoisuutemme mentaalitasolle tietoisesti, missä sielu toimii. And shift your astral polarization onto higher astral levels. Kohotamme astraalisen polarisaation niin korkealle astraalitasolle kuin mahdollista. And this is a task in general which is occupying the attention of a very large number of disciples at this time. Ja tämä on se myös yleisin tehtävä, joka on hyvin monen oppilaan tehtävä tässä ajassa. And the reason for this is that a very great part of the work of the returning Christ will affect greatly the astral plane, as it is the case in Afghanistan. Ja syynä tähän suuri osa Kristuksen palun työstä vaikuttaa suuresti astraalisen tasoon. That's why disciples are therefore needed who can absorb, transmute, and transfer light Ja siksi tarvitaan opetuslapsia, jotka voivat vetää itsensä, muuntaa ja välittää sitten valoa. So what we now try to do, that the whole group tries to absorb, and especially these chaotic and fearful energies which are going around Afghanistan. Me pyrimme vetämään itseemme ryhmään näitä hirvittäviä energioita, jotka nyt villinä seilaavat Afganistanissa. And then transmute in the group. Pyrimme transmutoimaan ryhmässä. And let us transfer light. Ja välitämme valoa, being aligned with the soul and withdrawing the light of the soul through the group and transfer it into Afghanistan. Ja vedämme sielustamme valon ryhmän kautta ja välitämme valoa Afganistaniin. And we understand that turmoil is caused by an increasing descent of the Christ energy from the Buddhic plane into the astral plane. Ja ymmärrämme, että myllerryksen syynä on Kristuksen energioiden lisääntyvä laskeutuminen buddhiselta tasolta astraaliselle tasolle. We sound the sacred word Om, lausumme pyhän sanan, and breathing it forth from our head center to heart center and then to Afghanistan. Ja ensin hengittäen pääkeskuksesta sydämeen ja sitä kautta Afganistaniin. Visualize its power, clarifying the aura and the atmosphere of Afghanistan. And we do it again. Ja teemme sen uudelleen. From head center to the heart and through heart to Afghanistan. Visualize how it is clarifying the aura and the atmosphere. A third time. In our daily ritual, we are going to practice that we visualize that the group is standing together. And now around couple, because this is a center through which the forces of light we could expect they are working. So if you want to offer yourself to this kind of work, to be for the 8 for hierarchy and thus aligning with the world group, with all of those groups who are now working and praying for Afghanistan. So let us stand together in the sacred circle around couple. Ja nyt, jos haluat, me työskentelemme päivittäisessä vigiliassa muodostaen pyhän piirin kapulin ympärille, koska se on keskus, jonka kautta nähtävästi hierarkia toimii. Ja voit virittäytyä ja antautua tähän työhön, jos haluat, kaikkien niiden maailmanryhmien kanssa, jotka rukoilevat ja työskentelevät nyt sisäisesti. And let us say that we have gathered in the name of the Christ, and then let us also really dedicate ourselves with his army of the light. Ja nyt omistautukaamme Kristuksen valon armeijalle. Let's say together, we have gathered in your name, Lord Maitreya, be with us. Olemme kokoontuneet sinun nimesi, Herra Maitreya. Ole läsnä meissä. And inwardly bow to his direction for his presence ja sisäisesti kumarra sinne suuntaan, missä on hänen läsnäolonsa. And we sound Om with the intent of refocusing ourselves upon the task of the Christ. Lausumme Om tarkoituksella keskittäytyä uudelleen Kristuksen tehtävään. Om. Now we are refocusing again to mental plane. Uudelleen virittäydymme mentaaliselle tasolle. And we use the creative imagination. Käytämme luovaa mielikuvitusta. And we carry forth this stimulation which has come upon the group. Me viemme eteenpäin tuon stimulaation, joka on ryhmän kautta tullut. Let us regard ourselves as a conscious recipient of the strength and the wisdom. Näkäämme ryhmä tietoisena voiman ja viisauden vastaanottajana, which we need for the work for Afghanistan. Mitä tarvitsemme tehtävässä Afganistanin puolesta? So we see us standing as a recipients of strength and wisdom and right human relations. Ja näemme ryhmän voiman ja viisauden ja myöskin oikeuden ihmissuhteiden vastaanottajana. And may the spirit of the child be spread ja levitköön lapsen tahto ja henki, the spirit of the child or children of Afghanistan, Afganistanin lasten henki. And may it become more powerful, that it fades away, warring, hatred. Ja tulkoon se vahvemmaksi niin, että tuo sotaa tahtova viha laantuu. Let us say, let thy will be done in Afghanistan. Sanomme, tapahtukoon sinun tahtosi Afganistanissa. And let us see the indigo color coloring everything. Ja näe kuinka indigon sininen väriää kaiken. The aura of Afghanistan, Afganistanin auran. And the aura of Kabul ja Kabulin auran. Visualize the Christ in the heart of Afghanistan. Näe Kristus Afganistanin sydämessä. As the ruler of that country ja tämän maan hallitsijana. See, from horizon of Afghanistan, sun is rising. Näe horisontista, Afganistanin horisontista auringon nousevan. And its beams touching the group aura. Ja sen säteet koskettavat ryhmän auraa. The group become as a lens for the rays of the sun. Ja ryhmä tulee linsiksi auringon säteelle. All this rainbow colors rays are pouring into Afghanistan. Ja kaikki sateenkaaren värit, säteet vuodattuvat ryhmän kautta Afganistaniin. Let us sound the mantra of unification. Lausukaamme nyt yhdentymisen mantra. The sons of men are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve, and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form, and life and all events, and bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate, and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all men love. And we see the Christ in the heart of every country. Ja näemme Kristuksen jokaisen maan sydämessä. And as the ruler of humanity ja ihmiskunnan hallitsijana. Blessings. May the blessings of the holy ones rest upon Afghanistan. Levätköön suurten ylevien siunaus Afganistanin yllä. May their blessings rest upon all of those who are fleeing. Ja kaikkien niiden yllä, jotka ovat nyt pakomatkalla. We call upon the spiritual forces to come for aid. Ja me kutsumme kaikkia henkisiä voimia apuun. May the blessings of the holy ones rest upon the United Nations and esoteric United Nations. Ja levätköön suurten ylevien siunaus yhdistyneiden ja esoteerisen yhdistyneiden kansakunnan yllä. We visualize our planet, how it is becoming holy planet. Ja me visualisoimme, että planeettamme on tulossa pyhäksi planeetaksi. Thank you, dearest friends. Kiitämme, rakkaat ystävät. We will continue within an hour or a little bit more than an hour. We will have the daily ritual, which is now going to be every day for some time, where we call help for Afghanistan. Ja noin vähän yli tunnin päästä me jatkamme taas päivittäisellä vigilialla, jossa kutsumme apua Afganistanille. Thank you for your help and for your love and care. Me kiitämme rakkaudestanne, avustanne. And hear you soon. Ja tapaamisiin hyvin pian. Now namaste for a while. Ja namaste hetkeksi.